Dan Senor was a senior advisor to the Romney-Ryan presidential campaign back in 2012. He joins us at the table where there is much to discuss.
Good morning.
I've seen some people say hashtag hot mess over at the White House. I'm wondering your characterization, because Sean Spicer said yesterday it was a matter of eroding trust. But why did the trust erode finally this week when the president has known about it for several weeks?
The problem is there's a lot of threads here to pull on. And this is not a simple crisis or potentially simple scandal where there's just sort of cause and effect. It seems that this is very layered and there are more questions that need to be answered than we're going to know for some time. What we do know is clearly Flynn had to go. Clearly, this is an inflection point for this White House in terms of reorganization, not just bringing in potentially new personnel, but reorganizing the structure. I don't think the president should rush to replace Flynn. I think he should take a step back and think about what he needs. This is a serious set of decisions he's got to make in terms of who he wants him, who he wants. Because these 3 weeks or 4 weeks we've just gone through, they can either be the beginning of a pattern, which we could be living with for some time, or we may look back at it 3 or 4 years from now and say, do you remember that crazy month that at the time seemed like a big deal, but it was actually a moment at which the White House got reorganized? Sort of like Reagan's first year. Richard Allen, who was National Security Advisor, his first National Security Advisor, lasted less than a year. At the time, it seemed like a crisis in Washington.
Sometimes crisis can lead to opportunity.
But that was because Nancy Reagan said that he had to go. Who is the Nancy Reagan
that's a
inside
great question.
House?
And when the Clinton administration had a staff shakeup early on, it seemed at the moment like a huge deal. Leon Panetta came in, things calmed, stabilized.
We still have a lot of information we don't know. We have reports of repeated contacts with the Russians, but we don't know how extensive they are, how deep it was, and who knew what when exactly. I mean, where do you see this leading? Dan?
Well, to me, there are three tracks to think about it. One is the congressional committees are clearly going to be looking at this, and you saw a series of press conferences yesterday about trying to get to the bottom of it. It's going to take time. That's my point. This is not a simple scandal.
It's a slow bleed.
It's a slow bleed with many layers and many threads that different players will be pulling on. So that's one track. But the next track is what the administration does, not only with regard to its own hiring, but also getting a handle on what appears to be, and I'm not absolving Flynn or anyone else of responsibility here, there seems to be a bureaucratic insurrection going on in the government writ large. These intercepts, these transcripts, when I was in government, I will tell you the notion that transcripts of intercepts of conversations of private U.S. citizens, which Flynn was at the time, were treated with the utmost sensitivity. These now are being leaked. It could be episodic or it could be part of some campaign to isolate Flynn.
Flynn have known he was being recorded. Shouldn't he know that? He
should have. Any time a U.S. official is talking to an official of a foreign government, they should assume so, or a non-U.S. official. But look, he was. I'm not absolving him. I'm just saying this is the White House needs to get a handle not only on their internal staffing issues. They need to get a hold of what's going on with the federal government writ large, where this stuff is being leaked out.
I said this at the top of the show. I mean, President Trump promised change, and so far he's delivered chaos.
Right.
What about tax reform this year? There was a promise about repealing Obamacare by March, a new plan. Where is that? This
is what worries me most right now, is the ability for the White House to work with Congress. Congress will work with the administration to get big things done if they believe that the White House is organized and has its act together. If it seems chaotic, Congress is going to be less incentivized to work with the White House. In fact, they're going to be worried about what can get done. So there's unbelievable things that can get done over the next year. Tax reform, health care reform. I mean, you can just getting the Supreme Court justice confirmed.
Agenda.
Of course, because you need every possible second, and this sucks up an enormous amount of oxygen.
Republicans seem split on how to handle this.
Dan Senor, thanks so much.
Good to be with you.